from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. We are here this morning, smack center in the middle of the week. Renessa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Natalia, and it's so good to be back in studio this morning. We have such a great lineup this morning.
Yes.
And it has been so much that has been going on in the Tobago space. I've been talking to you about it this morning. We have so many good things coming out of Tobago from our youth, and it's important that we highlight all of these things.
Yes. The reason why I wanted to bring you in very early, is because we're missing that handsome gentleman that is normally in between us. He always introduces us as the two lovely young ladies on the side of him. We miss you very much, Dwayne, and we look forward to being back here with you. Hopefully very next soon. Week.
Yes.
Yes. So I hope that you are good where you are. You are doing the Lord's work. We really hope that it is the Lord's work. All right. So, Dwayne, good morning to you and to our viewers on our varying platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on AMPLIA. Good morning. Good morning. So, Renessa.
Natalia.
I know we spoke about it a lot, but I know you have most of the headlines over there. So what is actually happening in the Tobago space?
So we have two young women. It's Wednesday, coincidentally. So we can call them a woman crush for this morning. We are going to highlight them. We have Miss Anaya Baird. She's one of our Tobago-born models who is modeling internationally. She's on the Paris scene. She's in Milan. She's doing her thing, and we are truly proud of her. And she came out of the Tobago Youth Creative Arts Workshop. She was actually my first runner-up for the Miss Tobago Beauty Pageant in 2024. So I'm extremely proud of her to see so many things have been coming out of that experience. Apart from that, we also have Zia Charles. She's one of our Tobago-born braiders. She's now in New York doing her thing. And recently we saw she's being featured with ORS, a United States brand. And that is amazing news to see that our young women who are involved in skills, they are actually soaring and doing things that are good to promote Tobago and put us on the map. And that's incredible. Incredible.
Yes, Renessa, I know that, you said we're featuring two, but I think I want to throw you in there. When we saw the footage last night from Anaya, we saw also Renessa. She said that she was your runner-up, or you were her runner-up.
She was my runner-up.
She was your runner-up, right? So Renessa was also featured in that footage, and glowing as always, darling. Good morning again to you. All right. So to all our women that are doing great in those spaces, congratulations to you on meeting it thus far. I don't want to slight who ORS is. ORS is a very known brand here. It's not just that they put her face on something random.
Yeah.
ORS is, a lot of our products here are ORS brand. Right, so to hear that Zia is being featured, it's very nice to hear that Tobago is out there
and being given that spotlight.
Correct. And then of course Anaya, who is, when I heard Paris and Milan, I was like, that sounds like, there was a song, I can't remember who the rapper was, to be quite honest, but she mentioned those three names, alluding to the fact that those names are big names, big countries that you can be featured in. So it says that Anaya is reaching far in her talent. So Renessa, I'm happy that you are here with me. I mean, you could have been in Paris or Milan as well, but I'm happy that you are here with me this morning, and of course to our viewers that are also here with us.
And now we're over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Renessa. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. 75 public servants were honored for their years of dedicated service to Tobago at the 2025 Legacy Award ceremony held last evening at the Shore Park Complex. The event, which officially closed the Public Service Week 2025, was hosted under the theme honoring the dedication, leadership, and lasting contributions of public servants. The ceremony was held under the auspices of Acting Chief Administrator Carl Murray and attended by dignitaries including Chief Secretary Fali Augustine. Clifton Walker is seeking justice after his only son, 22-year-old Trevon Walker, was shot dead early on Tuesday in Moriah. Police said Trevon was ambushed around 2:30 a.m. when another vehicle forced him to stop. He tried to escape but was later found dead in nearby bushes. His father, heartbroken, described him as a kind and hard-working young man with no ties to drugs or gangs. Police believe the killing stemmed from a personal dispute and say an arrest is imminent. The government and opposition MPs supported a motion on July 27th explaining the state of emergency declared on July 17th. Attorney General John Jeremy said the SOE was needed to disrupt a gang-led plot to assassinate officials and attack state institutions. Key inmates were relocated and contraband phones were seized. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles supported the move but called for transparency and results. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Renessa, I think we need to go straight on over to everyone's favorite segment of the morning, and that is our birthday segment. Who do we have up next?
So we have first and foremost Mr. Andy Cohan. Good morning to you from the Tobago Updates family. We hope you have a really great day today. Up next we have
Leroy George, a very familiar face in the public space, and I hope that that bright smile follows you throughout the day from many others other than yourself, smiling toward you to brighten up your day for your birthday. A happy birthday from the Tobago Updates family.
And last but certainly not least, we have Charles Scott. Good morning and happy birthday to you. We hope your day is very bright and prosperous and that you enjoy all that today has in store for you.
And I believe that is all for our birthdays this morning. You know, to you all who weren't able to send in your photos, you know, or your shout outs this morning, we say a happy birthday to you. You know, as we said last week, Renessa, and we'll continue saying it, life is something that we have to be thankful for.
Very
so true. I really do hope that you all enjoy your birthday, that God shines upon you. His favor is always upon you throughout the rest of your course. All right, so we go straight into our rundown this morning. Who do we have up, Renessa, coming to us here on Youth Wednesdays?
So firstly, we have Minister Shelley and Batist of Kingsway Ministries. She's here to talk about the Shiloh Fest 2025. After that, we have
Ian Williams. He's the CEO of Tobago Information Technology Limited. He will be speaking to us about rebranding and an open house. Renessa and I will be taking you through that interview this morning. And lastly,
we have Private Chanel Arjun, Rennie Mike, and Private Leandre Piper joining us virtually to talk about the 3W tournament that is returning for their second edition.
Right, so we have a lot in store for you. As always, very exciting conversations, or viewers, we never, I hope we never disappoint, right? But we have a lot in store for you this morning. Renessa, we want to remind them before we go to
Share the Live, Share the Live, Share the Live.
We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Are you ready to celebrate the essence of Crusoe land and the culture of Tobago? Well, get ready for Tobago Day in New York City, hosted by the Tobago Empowerment and Alliance Mission, Sunday, August 17, 2025, Nazareth High School Courtyard, 475 East 57th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 12 noon to 8 p.m. We bring the Tobago vibes to the Big Apple. Live music, Tobago food, cultural performances, and family fun. So bring Tanty, Granny, the uncle, invite the whole neighborhood. Just bring everybody and bring your significant other too. Come celebrate Tobago Day in New York City, Sunday, August 17th, Nazareth High School courtyard. But I forget to tell all you, it's we 10th anniversary celebration. For more information, call 929-327-7857 or check Team's Facebook and Instagram pages, Team Tobago Day.
As we draw nearer to the close of Heritage 2025, we can't forget some highly talked about events. On Sunday, July 27th, Speyside Harvest is on from 10 a.m. Then we head to the Buku Unveil production from 7 p.m. Belmana Riots in Roxborough, July 28th. Legacy of Africa in Bethel, July 29th. The Black Rock Sea Festival, July 30th. And finally, on August 1st, the Emancipation Day celebration is on from 5 p.m. in Scarborough.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
And we are back here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates, live here from Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Before we go on into our first interview, we have a little announcement for you all. So, the book and office supplies store that is located in Unit 44 of TLH Plaza, Scarborough, Tobago, is open on the holiday. And now I know it's that time of the year where, you know, we have to get our school supplies ready for the September school term. So they are open to serve you on the holiday, and they're inviting you to come out on the holiday for all your back to school supplies. That is on Friday, 1st August. We know that is the Emancipation Day. So on Friday, 1st August from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., book and office supplies will be open to the public, located at Unit 44, TLH Plaza, Scarborough, Tobago. To contact them for any more information, you can dial 635-2665. That's 635-2665. Okay. And I know that we're excited to get into it. I know that our guest is excited to get into our first interview for the morning, telling us about the Shiloh Fest 2025. Speaking to us this morning is Minister Shelley Batist of Kingsway Ministries. Good morning to you, Minister.
A pleasant good morning to you, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us. I know that you're very excited to speak to us about the Shiloh Fest 2025. I'm seeing that smile on your face. The viewers would like to know about the Shiloh Fest this morning. So before we get into that, just tell us a little bit about Kingsway Ministries. Who is Kingsway Ministries?
Okay, so Kingsway Ministries Incorporated International, it is what we consider a global ministry under the leadership of our apostle, Bishop Dr. Ayotunde Akindele. We have 3 different locations in Tobago, 2 in Guyana, 1 in Grenada, and 1 in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're hearing that Kingsway spreads far and wide throughout the Caribbean and in other regions. All right. So we have Kingsway right here in Tobago. You all are going to be celebrating, as we said, the Shiloh Fest 2025. Now, I was sent the flyer. We have a lot of pastors, a lot of ministers to look forward to for the Shiloh Fest. Could you tell us who we could look forward to for this fest?
All right. So first, I want just a slight correction. It's pronounced Shiloh. Shiloh Fest.
Shiloh.
Yes, Shiloh. And it comes from Habakkuk, where the children of Israel were gathered together. There was a specific time in the year where persons gathered at Shiloh. It is the place, it's the meeting place for the supernatural. And therefore, Shiloh is not just a place itself. We have Jesus Christ who embodies all the supernatural. Shiloh is a place and a person. So we get in 2 in 1. So Shiloh Fest starts today, 12 noon at Victory Outreach Church. That's just up the hill from where we are. At Sangster's Hill, it starts at midday, where we have our breakthrough hour, 12 to 1. So you could just run away from your lunchtime and come up and start with us. And then we continue nightly, 6:30, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then on Saturday, we have a special women's breakfast. Only $150. That is the only thing there's a cost attached. Everything else is absolutely free. We have some spectacular, powerful, anointed, mighty men and women of God. I'm so excited. You could hear the excitement in my voice, right? So today we start with our breakthrough hour. Bishop Ayatunde Akindele, our host pastor, will start the ball rolling this evening. And then we have Reverend Anthony Clark. We have Pastor Ayo Ajim from the US. We have what we call our grandpa, Bishop David E. Bellamy.
We hear his name on the radio all the time.
All the time. Nuggets, right? So it is a free and open invitation. It is absolutely free. We want to re-emphasize that Shiloh is the place where the supernatural happens. We create the space. We create the atmosphere for the supernatural. Listen, and believe you me, anything can happen. It's the place of the miracles. Come, one, all, everybody, come out to Shiloh. An open invitation is there for you.
All right. So you said that we'll be meeting nightly at the Victory Outreach Church, and that is at 6:30 p.m. But you all will be starting at 12 p.m. on the first day, and that is today.
That is today.
All right. So what can we expect on a nightly basis? You spoke to us about, it being a supernatural era, a supernatural place. What exactly can we expect in these sessions?
Okay. So as we're talking about creating the supernatural, healing, deliverance, breakthrough, we have a mass choir as well. So you have ministration in praise and worship, you have special ministration, you have dance, listen, the mass choir, as you remember I mentioned earlier, we have 6 different locations. So the mass choir will comprise of persons of 5 of those locations. So you can expect a power-packed session. We have special ministration from Jan Campbell, from 3 young ladies. They don't have a name as yet, but I'll give them a special name. Yeah? These are, 3 young ladies. We have from Shoam. We have different churches coming together. We have the Belmont Outreach Church from Trinidad. They will also be doing praise and worship. Listen, as I said, it is the gathering. There are no religious restrictions. We've stripped all the labels. So there are no labels. There are no, I belong to this church and I belong to that church. It is the gathering of the saints. So come out and be blessed.
All right. So we're seeing the excitement in Minister Batist's voice. We're hearing what she has to offer you. She is very much excited and expects you to be at the Victory Outreach Church today at 12 p.m. She's asking you to just, slip a little message to the boss. Tell them you're running away for your breakthrough at 12:30. That's 12 p.m. today at the Victory Outreach Church. All right. So viewers, I want to just thank Minister Shelley Ann Batist for being with us here on Youth Wednesdays this morning. Just to give you a quick rundown of the Kingsway Ministries Incorporated International Shiloh Fest. It takes place from July 30th to August 3rd, 2025. The theme this year is Enthroned to Reign. It starts at 6:30 p.m. nightly at the Victory Outreach Church, Sangster's Hill, Scarborough. You can expect pastors, such as Bishop Dr. Ayotunde and Pastor Natalie Akindele, Reverend Dr. Ayo Ajim, Reverend Anthony Clark, and of course, Bishop Dr. David Ibellomy. You can expect all of these powerful ministers to come to you on a nightly basis, starting, of course, with the breakthrough hour today. And then we have night 1, night 2, night 3 of powerful testimonies, of powerful preaching from these ministers. And of course, they end off with a big women's breakfast on Saturday and then into Sunday for family worship at Shiloh. So you all are invited. You all are very much welcomed to be a part of the Shiloh Fest 2025. Thank you so much once again, Minister Shelley and Batist, for being with us here this morning. Viewers, before we go, I just want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
The God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?
Bishop David Ibellomy.
In the supernatural, where you have been called, things that are miraculous can be instantaneous.
Reverend Dr. Ayo Ajim.
The key to your destiny is at the mercy of your obedience.
And host pastor Bishop Ayotunde Akindele.
Child of God, what have you heard about you from the Spirit of God?
From July 30th to August 3rd at Victory Outreach Church, Sanctus Hill, Tobago. Contact 391-0078 or 354-8654. You are called to reign. See you at Shiloh Fest 2025. Enthroned to reign.
We've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Glass Supplies, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme.
Well, I want a proper window for me house, eh? I want no shake thing in my place.
Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces.
We get one wall on the side and we get one hole. You can put a window there, invent something, a window for put there.
At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style.
Well, me meet ya. Me don't know who I'm talking to, but I cousin Tufina tell me for call all you go get proper thing for put there. Me don't know.
Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business.
Driven? No, I ain't driving. I get a bus ticket. One of me pick me them go drop me down there. Must bring me down there. Russo Trace Springer down by the page down there.
Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products, it's about relationships. It's about you.
It's all about me? Who's your family? You know Edna and Dorka and them, you know them, but you resemble them Edward boy and them Edward people them you.
Tobago Glass Supplies, Russo Trace Spring Garden, telephone number 639-6266. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Tobago Updates. It's Youth Wednesdays, and here we are going to dive into our next interview for this morning. We're going to be joined by Flight Lieutenant Ryan Utley, and we are going to be talking about the 3W tournament, Women, Warriors and Wellness. It returns for its second edition, spotlighting the power of sports, service and womanhood. Good morning, Flight Lieutenant.
Good morning.
Welcome
Good morning,
to Tobago
good morning,
Updates.
Tobago. Thank you
for
very much.
joining us
I'm
this
happy
morning.
to be here.
Happy to have you. So first and foremost, this is the second edition of the 3W tournament. From your perspective as a senior officer, what are you expecting to emerge from this year's tournament and what can the patrons look forward to?
Right, so I'm glad that you said that. So one of the things that we are looking at for this edition of 3W is a renewed sense of patriotism, a new sense of footballing agenda for our women, and definitely a diverse competition. So this year we have Guyana Defence Force joining us for the first time. We also have Grenada coming back. You know, last year we would have done Grenada. That would have been just after the passage of Hurricane Beryl, and we were able to do our support to our sister island in Grenada and offer some outreach to them. This year, we also doing a back to school drive with this event. So definitely what the patrons going to see when they come out to our event, they're going to see a high level of competition because Grenada didn't too like they lost last year. So they come out a renewed vigor. to win, and definitely you would have a upset with Guyana Defense Force, who also has a point to prove. Just southeast of us, to say we are also a dominant female force in the Caribbean as well. But our reigning champs, Club Sando, are back as well, and their intention is to keep their throne. We have upgraded our medals and we have upgraded our prizes. So when we sent it out, everybody was excited to see what they can win and the opportunities are there for them. But generally, the patrons going to have time. They're going to have a lot of fun. We've also renewed our partnership with Northwest Regional Health Authority in Trinidad, who has given their dedication to come out and support. So the wellness part of it, they're going to be there offering their services again. So the patrons that come out, they're going to check your cholesterol and they're going to check your blood pressure and those sort of things as a wellness aspect of the competition. And for the kiddies and stuff, especially on the last day of our competition, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of prizes to give away, a bouncy castle and those sort of stuff to bring all the family and have a good time with us at the 3W competition. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of good things to look forward to, and it's always good to have healthy competition. Yeah. So Grenada coming back for that loss that they had, we know our girls have to step it up. So you mentioned
what I'll say to you, sorry, one more thing is for the first time we're also going to have a representative team from Tobago. So Tobago Chicas are going to be in. I know they have a point to prove as well.
Yes, they do.
So it's going to be a battle. So I definitely come out and support. That's what we're going to say.
Thank you so much for all that information. And you mentioned the whole point of you doing a back to school drive. That is important, that we are giving back to our community. And we oftentimes we do a lot of these tournaments and people look at it as just, people playing football, and they don't understand that sometimes into the planning goes that opportunity for us to give back to our community and our patrons who come out to support us. And you mentioned some of your sponsors. Can you give us a bit more of the people who are involved and helping to make this tournament what it is?
Sure. So definitely the outreach aspect is one of the most critical parts for the organizers of this competition. And based upon that, what we have gotten so far, we have Office Authority here who would have stepped up to donate 100 kids. They would have given stationery and supplies that they often supply for us to give out to those kids as well. We also have the Sani Powerade, who has been our hydration sponsor, who will be back this year offering that services to our women in the competition. Defense Force as a major contributor. We must say thank you to them because they help us out with transportation, they help us out with personnel to get the job done. So definitely that's our sponsors that we have on board thus far. We are still in negotiation with a few of them as well to ensure that we get what we need to get from them as well. So we are speaking out to sponsors to see how best they can facilitate our request. We have some commitments from John Dickerson and other stationary supply personnel to ensure that we could give as much as we want to give. Our target is 200 kids to give them back to school supplies that will help them through their educational progress at this point in time.
Okay,
so that's just
really
some of our sponsors at this time. Yeah.
All right. So every strong initiative comes with its own set of challenges. I know you mentioned the aspect of sponsors and reaching out to persons being on board. What other challenges did the committee have to face when putting this tournament back together, especially it being the second edition?
Right. So definitely one of the challenges that we had this year so far would have been the constant movement and commitment of the teams. So initially, Grenada was on board. They said yes. we reached out to UTT, we reached out to some of the other teams that participated in the Wolf competition. Initially, they would have said yes, so we were planning with those group of teams. Then last minute, because of the July-August vacation, some of the women, this is not their professional career. They do this at the side, so they would have looked for jobs and those sort of stuff coming out of school. And that put a little strain on the committee in terms of finalizing who are the teams that will be participating. That was only resolved just about a week ago when we had full commitment from all 6 teams who will be participating at this time. And then we had to get venue. So CONCACAF and CFU are having competitions in Trinidad and Tobago, and that hampered the amount of venues and the availability of venues at the point in time that we would have liked to have the competition. So we had to push the competition into the month of August to facilitate both CFU and CONCACAF, as well as the Defense Force Women Warrior Wellness competition as well. So those are some of the challenges that we would have faced. Thank God the committee is resilient. Thank God that we were able to push ahead and firm up and get those things organized. So what you're going to see is that it's still going to happen. We're going to still come out with the quality of competition that we had last year, and even better as we continue to increase our standard of performance over the period. And yeah, it's going to be definitely good. So we finally finalized our venue. Here's the Crawford Stadium. We were able to get the training field for the round robin aspect of the competition. And then we were able to get the main field for our semi-finals and finals, which is going to be exceptional. The nice thing about this competition, no one knows who's going to be in the semis and the finals. It's a very dynamic competition, and our women are going to play their hearts out, even as they prepare for national duty in November. And that's what we're hoping that we can do for our national development as well. Give our women the opportunity to compete for national call-up, as well as provide a high level of competition to prepare them for those games and those qualifiers that come up in November.
And I'm happy that you mentioned the national service. So this tournament is about women in uniform, and I know sometimes you also have civilians being a part of this team. How does it help shift public perception about the roles women play in sport and national service?
Well, what the competition provides is a platform to really showcase their talent. That's one. What we have observed as a committee is that not a lot is being done in terms of women in football, one, and women in sports. Having the mixture of the two is, you see, the Defense Force and other arms of uniformed services, we offer some insight into discipline, into professionalism, into having that driving force, that will to win, as one of my former boss used to say, the will to win, that in spite of the adversities, in spite of challenges, you keep on pushing forward and pushing ahead. The connection between civilian players and our military service women is that they are able to bring that balance to the team and that development to women as well, by providing the opportunity for them to play along each other. The training environment is rigid. I could talk about what happens in the Defense Force camp. The training environment is very, very rigid. It is basically military run to ensure that we get the best out of the players, that they are the peak of fitness, that they know how to operate as a team, they collaborate on events of team building and nation building as well. So these outreach teaches them, listen, as much as you receive, it's even better when you give. And you go to the families and those persons who would have been suffering, those persons who have challenges, and you see that aspect of it is building really, really good citizens for Trinidad and Tobago and paying the two into service. is one of the things that I believe that this competition offers for our national development and paying both civilians and women and in uniform together. They balance out each other. Yeah.
And I know in one of the clips that is being shown on the screen to our viewers, we have the Asha James. She's one of our Tobago-born footballers. She's actually a classmate of mine. So to see also the progression that she has gone through, even from school, the discipline that she's had. So to know that she's on that team with you, I know there's that level of discipline, commitment, and consistency. So it's amazing to see all of this being combined into everything. And it's just showcased on the field as well.
Yes. And Asha is one of our gem. That's our gem from Tobago with us. And we also have Miss Kamika Forbes, who is also part of our team. So, yeah, Defense Force is, let's say, a Trinidad and Tobago team.
Yes.
With a connection of both, we have both Tobagonians and Trinidadians on that team. So I really appreciate and love to see how the girls are getting along. From the organizer's point of view, we believe that this level of professionalism offers our girls something that they don't really see on regular competition in Trinidad and Tobago. And we think that giving them this opportunity continues to make them want something, to make them work harder for it, as we even prepare for CONCACAF competition, hopefully next year. One of our teams in Trinidad and Tobago can qualify for that competition, a regional competition. Yeah.
And I'm happy that you're pushing our women to qualify for one of these CONCACAF games. And in light of you saying that Trinidad and Tobago having Tobago players on your team as well, are you looking to expand the 3W tournament to Tobago, having it being done here in Tobago?
Yeah, so definitely as we grow. So this year we had a few expenses that we had to take care of, providing that sponsors come on board and assist in this operation. One of the things that we want to do is bring some of the games to Tobago. If we can't get the whole tournament across there, which would be even better, we'll definitely look at bringing some of the games to Tobago, especially at your Dwight York Stadium, which we believe can host a significant level of competition there for our women and give Tobago an opportunity to shine. So should we have Chicas or a Tobago team in the competition next year again, definitely we'll look at bringing 1 or 2 games across there for the fans and the supporters in Tobago to come out and support. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And we look forward to seeing the expansion of the 3W tournament next year. So it's going to be your 3rd edition. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning at Tobago Updates. Thank you for sharing all that you have to let us know. Can you please just, before we wrap up, give the patrons and our viewers the dates and the time and location of this tournament?
Sure. So the competition takes place from the 4th of July. So we compete on the 4th of July, the 5th, 6th, the 8th, and the 10th of July, our competition days. All game time starts at 5. It's a double header in each game. So we have 4 hours of quality competition, a lot of fun, a lot of giveaway at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain. And we are going to be quite happy to receive you all when you all come out to support us. There is no admission. What we ask is that persons walk with some items for back to school as we continue to reach out to our communities who are in dire need of support, and we take it from there. So definitely that's the time, that's the venue, and come with your back to school supplies or even your support of just your presence, and we're going to be quite happy to have you all.
Thank you so much.
Tobago will be coming across next year.
Thank you so much, Flight Lieutenant Utley. It's been a pleasure having you here. And to our viewers, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Tobago.
What?
With Flow Business's new smart solutions powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
My name is Tina Macmillan, your last year's third place winner and the Miss Photogenic for last year's Miss Heritage Personality Show. And this year, I want to carry you with me for my Tobago Heritage experience. I'll be hosting With Tobago Updates, bringing you live coverage behind the scenes and also their giveaways, tickets to the heritage events, and a 2-night stay to the Manzolina Grand. So you need to stay locked on to Tobago Updates on all their social media platforms, Kina Macmillan on Facebook and originalmedusa.tt on TikTok. My Tobago Heritage experience with Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back, brush back. Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back, brush back. Do something and do something.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. We're here with our last interview for the morning, but of course that interview has a jam-packed amount of information coming to you. And it's funny that I, use that word information. I wanted to incorporate that. Renessa is laughing at this side of me, but she understands. We are here with Ian Williams. He's the CEO of Tobago Information Technology Institute. Good morning to you, Ian.
Good morning, ladies.
Good
Thanks
morning.
for having me, and I feel it's a pleasure to be on a youth program.
Oh, yes, it's a pleasure to have a youth on our youth program this morning, Renessa. Right? So he'll be speaking to us about an open day. Now, I know that we know about Tobago Information Technology Institute. We know where it's located. It's on that small corner in Signal Hill there. But what does this institute have to offer? This morning, Mr. Williams will be taking us through what they'll be offering in their open day and, of course, in the long run for this institution. All right. So, Mr. Ian, what brings you here this morning to tell us a little bit about the Information Technology Institute?
Well, thank you again. But first of all, what I want to say with regards to that, I just want to bring, and that is the purpose of this, taking it to the public that we have been going through a phase, nearly a 2-year-long phase, in terms of redefining our strategy and how we'll operate as an institution with our new mandate. With that being done, we have already started operationalizing. And because we have a new slew of offerings, new direction, etc., it is high time that a company that was formed as far back as 2006 creates its true identity now in its rebranding in terms of going forward and forging the technological part of Tobago going forward.
Right. Okay.
So the team is very powerful. It says reimagining Tobago Information Technology Limited, a vehicle towards a digital Tobago. What does that vision look like in practical terms for the average Tobagonian?
That looks like and feels like a better type of living. More opportunities with regards to technology, because technology intersects with every aspect of job creation, career that you are now. All right. It also means a better ease of life. Pretty soon, once that vehicle starts taking us down this path, a lot of these services that you need to access and you have to go and line up, but you could get some of these straight from the comfort and luxury of your homes. All right, in terms of not just applications, but even payments and so on, in terms of going forward, moving us closer to the more developed countries and how they operate in terms of public service and customer experience, etc.
All right. So we were having a conversation prior to coming on screen, getting to know Mr. Williams a little better about the Tobago Information Technology Institute. And I know that some of us know this institute as giving us, small lessons in basic, intermediate, advanced use of Word and Excel, the Microsoft suites. But he's telling me that he's now going to be launching this institution into a deeper form of technology use. Right. So, Mr. Williams, could you tell us a little bit about what your goals, your future goals in this are going to be?
Yeah. So, first of all, when you think about technology, we have to ready the people for technology also.
Right.
So that human capital development is very important with regards to our portfolio. So we'd have started with the Microsoft Word and Excel and basic literacy and whatever. But we are now down a deeper shoot where we're looking at different things, such as now we have currently ongoing now AutoCAD and Revit and all these different designing tools, project management, your CCA training, your CompShare, IT training and certification, which all of these, by the way, are worldwide recognized. So whether you're here or you're even working remotely, you can get equipped right here in Tobago to do or work on the world-class jobs that they are. All right? So the portfolio is a lot more diverse. And again, we're not just working, because I keep telling my team and telling everybody that we cannot do it alone. So we need to form, and we have been forming these strategic alliances, the SBCS, the CTS colleges, Ricard Labs, GNC Labs, all these different accredited institutions that are aligned in the vision that we're going. We're working with them to trust the island forward.
I know you mentioned, I heard, AutoCAD. I know a little bit about that, a little bit, right? I know that the resource for AutoCAD, the programming for AutoCAD could be quite expensive. So how is your institution going to work around that? And is it that when they come and they study the AutoCAD, is it that they get the certification in AutoCAD afterward?
So the first thing that we put a lot of thought into all our offerings. So with regards to AutoCAD, our AutoCAD class or program ongoing now, if you have your technology and so on and your BYO, bring your own device, fine.
Yes.
Right? But we provide the suite of tools, everything.
Okay.
So when you get there, there's no excuse, you're prepared. As they always used to say growing up, a workman is not a workman without his tools, right?
Yes.
So you come and we ensure that you're equipped and you can have it and you can run with the lecturer and you can become the best version of you with regards to the training we offer.
Well, I'm seeing the modern day coming into it, because they're saying a workman can't work without his tools. But I know a long time they used to tell us, don't forget your tools at home. So, now you're coming to the actual institution and getting your tools there. I love the fact that you all are modernizing in this way. A lot of people I know are very much interested in AutoCAD, because AutoCAD opportunities are popping up everywhere for people. So now it's available to you. The resources are there at the Tobago Information Technology Institute.
And I know you mentioned incorporating with the people and making them more informed and aware of what the whole rebrand is about. And I think it's important that while we are doing this, we start with the young people. We go into the career fairs, we go into the schools, we start promoting these as jobs for them so they can have an idea and they can filter in and they would with the progression of AI and all of this information and the technology, they would already have an idea, especially when it comes to choosing subjects and all of these things that lead up to that. And I know a part of the rebrand is the rollout of new services. So we have the CRM implementation to the STEM Academy. I know STEM is something that has steadily been on the rise here in Trinidad and Tobago. So can you give us a bit more insight into the expanded offerings that you would be showcasing?
Right, so because you mentioned STEM, I'll just say it. We have our STEM camp ongoing now. And a testament to growth is that just after the pandemic, when we started back physical STEM, we had 30 persons. All right. Our largest STEM camp before this year, for the whole July, August holiday, was 130 persons.
Okay.
Only one cycle this year. We just started cycle 1, and we have within that 128 persons just in 50% of the class.
Wow.
That is the demand that we have seen and the growth in terms of buying into the STEM program, etc. All right. We always infuse it, change it up, carry them to Trinidad. We have trips where we carry them to different labs, etc. and so on. All right. Apart from that, there'll be a lot of focus in terms of the contact center. I know in our earlier banter we spoke about 211. All right. But we're moving a lot further than 211. 211 is here to stay, and while some things within it may change, all right, the contact center is now, not soon, already doing private business for institutions, customer surveys. We're doing business process outsourcing where, okay, your core focus is not contact center or customer engagement. We'll do it for you.
Right.
All right, and convert these persons and hand them over to you, and you take care of your business and close your deals. All right, that is a big industry that is mushrooming worldwide and more so in Trinidad and Tobago, and we find ourselves fitting in terms of getting into that. All right, we talk about a lot of AI infusion. We have a very large web portfolio. We support, with regards to web projects now, about 16 web projects currently, and that's just the ones in Tobago, even some beyond. And we do hosting, emails, development, conceptualization from scratch, you name it. All right, we also do bespoke solutions. So if you have a problem within your business and you need that technological intervention, we come in and we look at it, look at the processes, and we can recommend something and even implement. Or if we are not the implementer, that's why we're getting this rigorous partner program. Because on our website now and the Facebook, we have a call to professionals within the island. Because I keep saying we can't do it alone. We want the young, bright, even the experienced persons within the island to look at the age-old problems that we have here and begin starting to solve them. And be to the betterment of all of our lives.
And I'm happy that you mentioned that you're talking about the stakeholders coming together. We also need to look at it from the point of view of probably introducing it in the curriculum, in the schools, before you even head to university, because a lot of times you aren't aware or you don't know what it is you want to do after you leave high school. So if it is, there's a point where you would be having discussions with the Ministry of Education, the Division of Education, to have this implemented so that our young people already have that exposure prior to. Is that something that you're looking to do in the future, or is it something that is already ongoing?
Right, so let me just say that first and foremost, our line division is the Division of Education. And with that, we work closely with two projects which I want to say. We work closely, and I was a member, the deputy chair of the online policy. We created an online policy for learning. Because when you look at where we at, we went into that pandemic, which I don't like to speak too much about. And coming out of the pandemic, we had tablet penetration was higher, internet higher. And then, you know, what we did as a team is sit and formalize a policy. And we're now ready in terms of taking that policy to pilot. So that it's not just a case of when a pandemic comes or if or maybe. We're ready and we integrate online learning into the school. From a curriculum point of view, there's also concurrently with that running a Tobago-centric curriculum committee. And I know they are very advanced in their work now in terms of, and within there, you have an IT component and IT persons ensuring that all these things from basic IT right up to AI, best uses, best practices are absorbed into the curriculum, and we make the best use of it. Because let me say, when you look at all the other major players, developed countries, they are delving deep into technology and AI. And if we still sitting and wondering, oh well, somebody got cheat, we really pretty much handicapping ourselves on moving forward and taking that competitive advantage.
You know, I was going to comment on that. You said you don't like to talk much about the pandemic, but the pandemic is what really launched Tobago more into the technological space. You know, well, I don't want to put a backward kind of position on us, saying that we didn't really use technology before, but after or during that pandemic where we were actually forced into that technology space, I think let me not say 211. Tobago Technology Institute.
Tobago Information Technology Limited.
Thank you. Tobago Information Technology Limited really did their part, aligning with the Division of Education in bringing that piece that we needed into the education sector, so that we can go forward with education itself. So to hear that you all have all of these rebranding happening, you know, we have a lot to look forward to from the institute.
Definitely.
You mentioned, we're wrapping up, but I know you were very excited before the interview started to mention some of the things that we could look forward to in the open day. All right. So I'm giving you some time to just give us a briefing on what we can expect tomorrow.
So our open day happens tomorrow from 10 to 2 p.m.
Yes.
The general public is invited. You will see TITL as well as some of our technological partners, training partners, and partners within the Tobago space displaying their technological capabilities and what they can offer. From the point of view from Tobago Information Technologies booth, you're going to see our contact center offerings, PBX, computer hardware sales, you name it, website development, app development, AI generated stuff. We also will have within there our STEM portfolio, which will show us there. We have some of our STEM partners traveling from Trinidad. So you're going to have the ability to see dogs walking, people walking, robots, built from scratch, you name it. All right. We also have some young Tobagonians, which we brought out, doing some lovely work with augmented reality and all these kind of things. All right. So they are the persons here, and this is the point that we showcase what we can do. We showcase what the island can do, what the partners can do, and we bring everybody together. Just saying within that also, within our rebranding, and look forward to a lot of media launch from next week, where you'll see our new logo, or the new positioning, who we are as a person, or entity, I should say, in terms of our journey going forward. So we look forward to seeing the general public tomorrow. We're offering live refreshments. Booth will have the usual giveaways and so on, little contests and so. So we're looking to see the general public come and show that we have a belief that IT can change us and propel us to a different place in terms of our development as island.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for joining us this morning. It has been very informative, and I'm sure Tobago, and by extension Trinidad and Tobago, is looking forward to the rollout of these programs and how they are going to positively impact our youth and us, and as our nation and our country come together.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It was indeed a pleasure having you, hearing that information from Tobago Information Technology Limited. I got it right this time. All right. So, thank you so much for joining us here on Youth Wednesdays. Viewers on our varying platforms, Facebook, YouTube, 102, and AMPLIA. This brings us to the end of Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates here, Wednesday, 30th of July, 2025. Renessa and I will be saying goodbye to you. Mr. Williams will be saying goodbye to you. But before we go, we just want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. Up next, we have a Good Morning Tobago, that's GMT, with Miss Chanel Felix. records its fourth murder for 2025, the first during the current SOE. Government to extend the SOE to 3 months. Brazen robbery at Cad supermarket. And Tobago-born model featured in international fashion news. Good evening, I'm Natalia Nancis. Welcome to the Tobago Updates Television News for Tuesday, 29th July 2025. To our top story. Tobago has recorded its fourth murder for the year, and the first since the declaration of the state of emergency earlier this month. The victim has been identified as 22-year-old Trevon Walker of Ladysmith Trace, Moriah. According to police reports, Walker was shot dead in a drive-by attack along Highlands Road in Moriah, just a short distance from his home. Officers of the Tobago Division responded to reports of gunfire around 3 a.m. and discovered Walker's lifeless body at the scene. Investigations into the incident are ongoing. Nationwide, at least 223 murders have been reported so far in 2025, down from 349 during the same period last year. For July alone, 33 homicides have been recorded compared to 67 in July of 2024. An atmosphere of shock and concern has settled over the community following an armed robbery at Cad supermarket last night, marking the second time the establishment has been targeted this year. Here is reporter Jordan Frank with more.
An armed robbery occurred at Cad supermarket last night. At approximately 9:28 p.m., 3 masked men, brandishing both firearms and blades, stormed the premises, swiftly emptying the cash register. They forced customers inside the store to lie on the ground and even compelled a man who was attempting to leave the premises to re-enter so he could meet the same fate. Assailants did not appear to inflict serious physical harm on anyone present. They efficiently collected the cash and notably secured bottles of alcohol before making their escape around 9:29 p.m. This incident marks the second time Cad supermarket has been targeted this year, following a similar robbery that occurred in January. Police responded promptly to the scene and have since confirmed that 4 suspects were arrested. The sum of cash stolen has yet to be disclosed.
Trinidad and Tobago is under a heightened state of alert tonight as the government seeks to extend the state of emergency by 3 months. The drastic measure comes amid allegations of a prison-based plot to assassinate senior government officials, judges, and law enforcement officers. Reporter Jewel Green-George has the details.
The government declared the initial state of emergency on July 18th, citing an imminent and coordinated threat to national security, and on July 28th debated a resolution for a 3-month extension which is supported by a simple majority vote of the House of Representatives. In a tense parliamentary session, the Attorney General, John Jeremy, detailed the gravity of the intelligence that prompted the move.
The government, in light of these intelligence reports, which told of plots to assassinate key government officials, members of the judiciary, members of law enforcement, as well as to attack state buildings, advised His Excellency the President to declare state of emergency.
Trinidad and Tobago, which has one of the highest crime rates in the
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand dawning as
passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and you know whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. 75 public servants were honored for their years of dedicated service to Tobago at the 2025 Legacy Awards ceremony held last evening at Shaw Park Cultural Complex. The event, which officially closed the Public Service Week 2025, was hosted under the theme Honoring Dedication, Leadership, and Lasting Contributions of Public Servants. The ceremony was held under the auspices of Acting Chief Administrator Carl Murray and attended by dignitaries including Chief Secretary Farley Augustine. Additionally, Clifton Walker is seeking justice after his only son, 22-year-old Trayvon Walker, was shot dead early on Tuesday in Mariah. Police said Trayvon was ambushed around 2:30 a.m. when another vehicle forced him to stop. He tried to escape but was later found dead in nearby bushes. His father, heartbroken, described him as a kind, hard-working young man with no ties to drugs or gangs. Police believe the killing stemmed from a personal dispute and says an arrest is imminent. Finally, the government and opposition MPs support a motion on July 27th explaining the state of emergency declared on July 17th. Attorney General John Jeremy said the SOE was needed to disrupt gang-led plots to assassinate officials and attack state institutions. Key inmates were relocated and contraband phones were seized. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles supported the move but called for transparency and results. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Guys, this morning we jump right ahead into our conversations, and we are talking about keeping yourself and your belongings safe during the upcoming hurricane season. This morning I have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with Miss Malora Agbeko. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Thank you so much for having me this morning. Good morning to the viewing public.
Excellent. And first I want to start off by saying for the persons that are unaware of when the hurricane season is, let us know.
Right, so the hurricane season spans from June 1st all the way to November 30th. However, we are in the rainy season and it spans all the way to the end of December. So we take all that into consideration going forward.
Excellent. Yeah. And, how has this hurricane season been thus far? Well, obviously, we have not heard of any incoming hurricanes, but, from your assessment at TEMA, when you look at it holistically, whether it be from, the rainy season, we usually see, I think last year we saw some flash floodings, correct, heavy rainfall, we saw some landslides. How do we compare this year with last year?
Last year, by this time, we would have been knee-deep in a lot of reports because last year around this time, we would have been dealing with Hurricane Beryl. And what I would say is that by this time last year, we had over 328 reports recorded at TEMA. Thank goodness, this year, what we're looking at from the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, we haven't seen too much activity in the area of interest, which is in the Atlantic Basin, just a few degrees north and south of us here in Trinidad and Tobago, spanning across that entire area. And thank goodness we haven't seen anything yet, but we know that we have to stay prepared regardless of what is happening right now.
Excellent. And, even though we can say we are a bit in the clear, we're not seeing anything happening. Like last year, we were all praying and we had our fingers and our toes crossed that correct, Beryl would have passed over us, and so she did. This year, we aren't seeing as much rainfall, though, being as heavy as last year, where we saw the flooding even in the Scarborough area. We saw flooding that we had not seen before. in certain areas that had not flooded before we saw flooding last year. Talk to us about that.
Well, right now we're still very much early in the hurricane season. So what we would have seen issued by the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service is that we know that there's going to be a lot more moisture because we are in the rainy season. And with that, it brings the hydrometeorological events and the related hazards with those. So even though we haven't seen much yet, thank goodness, we know that we have to remain vigilant because there would be, based off of our trend analysis, some type of activity happening. Even if it's just something as simple as fallen trees that would disrupt road traffic or even utilities, something may happen. And because of that, we just have to ensure that we do our best to remain as vigilant as possible.
Excellent. And we are in the July-August season, and this is usually a heightened period for tourism. We have a lot of tourists on the island, and obviously, they want to go out, they want to enjoy all that Tobago has to offer, specifically, the reef tour operators. What can we look forward to during this season as it pertains to, them being able to manage that while understanding the weather conditions at this time?
The good thing is the July-August vacation normally doesn't bring too much activity. However, our peak hurricane season is anywhere between September, October, November. So when we look at that, we take into consideration with heightened activity that we would then have more to take into consideration, especially as it relates to our marine persons. So when it comes closer to that time, we ask them to ensure that they do the necessaries in terms of making sure that they are aware of all the issuances by the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service or even TEMA, because it would assist them in safeguarding their items. We don't want a case whereby they are getting undue damages to their vessels and so on because they didn't listen to the necessary messaging. So, as I said, July, August, we are normally in the clear, but especially around the peak hurricane season, we ask them to really pay attention to that messaging going out.
Excellent. And, climate change has been on the top of the agenda where global conversations are concerned.
Correct.
And the impact that it has on small and developing nations. We are seeing the result of that as we look on the coastline with an increase in sargassum, seaweed on the coastline. How are we managing that, and how can we continue to manage that going forward, specifically even during this hurricane season?
Yeah, there's intensification right across the board as it relates to climate change. And what we can do is ensure that we are more robust with our planning and with our infrastructural development as well. As it relates to sargassum, sargassum is now blooming so much in the Atlantic, and not only Tobago is affected, but we're seeing it with our neighbors in the rest of the Caribbean islands. There is an intensification because the water is becoming more nutrient rich, creating an environment for sargassum to bloom and to spread even more. And we're getting more and more carpets coming into our shores. But it's something that we definitely have to manage in terms of it being something that most likely is here to stay and would be impacting us for a very long time. So one thing that I have to say is that we have been partnering with the UNDP, and through the National Sargassum Committee, we have been able to acquire some infrastructure, some equipment, I should say, thank you, that would assist us in the cleanup. So very soon, you would be seeing that we have gotten some more equipment that would assist us in the beach cleanups and so on. Hopefully, at some point in time, we can go back around the table and see how we could tackle it from the sea end of things. But as it relates to shore end cleanup, we are doing our best to ensure that we have that equipment onshore in Tobago very soon so that we'll be able to have that cleanup mechanism in place.
Right. And the way you've explained it, it seems like we have to get accustomed to this being the new normal. what does that say for what can be done with the actual sargassum material? Is it that because this may be the new normal, persons need to begin coming up with innovative ways of utilizing the sargassum? I mean, we know about, globally and even within the region, we have, persons that are using it for different purposes. So is it that because this is the current situation, this has to become a part of the conversation?
Correct. We definitely have to see how best we could turn a quote-unquote bad situation into something that is innovative. One thing that we definitely have to take into consideration is that sargassum does have a high heavy metal content. So the necessary testing and so on has to be done so that we can ensure that persons who utilize it for any type of industry can do so safely. So at this point in time, my recommendation is to see how best, as I said, that we turn a bad situation into something that is innovative and creative, because it is a natural substance that can be utilized in several different ways. And we have seen it across the Caribbean where persons are using it as fertilizer. One of the other things that we also have to take into consideration is that because of coastal erosion, we need a framework for the sand to hold on to. And sargassum creates that framework for the sand to hold on to. So it helps to build back our beaches. And in places like Barbados, they're seeing that the beaches where there would have been significant sand erosion, that those beaches are starting to be built back because the framework of the sargassum is there to hold on to the sand. So as I said, it's not the most pleasant to deal with, because the scent of it is quite aggravating to some persons, and it's because it's quite pungent, especially when it's in its decaying phase. But we just have to figure out ways that we can live with it at this point in time instead of fight it.
Excellent. And, even as we talk about that level of innovation, we know that in the mid-year budgetary review, there has been conversations about the allocation for Tobago. I believe it was $100 million in loan funding for us to work on that coastal protection project. Are you a part of that? Is TIMA a part of that conversation?
At this point in time, I wouldn't be able to say. I'm sure at some level we shall be, because in terms of emergency management, there's several different phases of it. And in the first phase, it is mitigation and planning. So I'm sure at some point in time, if we have not already been brought into the conversation, we shall be brought into the conversation soon.
Excellent. And, even from your observation, because we know that there is the arm of TIMA that works on that. I can't remember, it's Geo something.
Yes.
Darian works on that.
Geographic Information Specialist.
Geoinfo.
Yeah.
Right. So I know that they have done some work where they have used the technology to look at from an aerial view of where there has been the most coastal erosion on the island. Is there anything that you can tell us about that?
Not at this point in time. I would leave the specialist to say to that. So hopefully one day soon we could have Darian back on the program. But we can see that there's it's significant in certain areas, and especially coming out of an oil spill, especially coming out of dealing with sargassum, it's becoming more and more apparent that we have to do more in terms of the coastal protection part of things. So definitely I wouldn't want to speak on something that's not my specialty, but it's something that kind of impact us at some point in time, especially in emergency management.
Excellent. And I think that we hear and we know about TIMA specifically when we are in positions of emergencies, but are there any other elements to TIMA that you think are often overlooked that you want to bring up this morning?
Yeah, definitely. So people normally see us in terms of the response phase, but we actually embrace a comprehensive disaster management model, which means that everything from mitigation and planning to response and recovery is what we are involved in. We try our best to have the best response. However, the best response and recovery depends on how good your planning is and how good your mitigation efforts are. So we, as I said, look at a comprehensive disaster management model towards ensuring that there is the best coordination that can happen from every sector and every level of what we do. So in terms of when you see TEMA, yes, it's exciting to see us out doing what we do, but there's a lot that happens year round. And what persons tend to not realize is that we are not just hydrometeorologically connected in terms of we're not just a hurricane people. We're not just here. We just don't pop up during rainy season. And we don't have quote unquote downtime. Emergencies can happen at any point in time, and we coordinate any and all types of emergencies. So once we know that emergencies are not planned events, they are not things that happen between 8 and 4, there's an element of TEMA that is always in gear, whether, as I said, it's from the planning and the mitigation efforts all the way to response and recovery. So it's a very comprehensive approach that we take in terms of what we do.
Excellent. And for the persons who don't know, usually when there's a fire, TEMA is there to do an assessment.
Correct.
And they give you a report on the fire so that you can take it to get social assistance. Is it that persons call TEMA individually, or TEMA comes along with the fire service when they respond to a fire?
It's a mixture of both, because we have a very good coordinating mechanism through our Tobago Disaster Management Committee. So we have very good interagency collaboration efforts going forward. A lot of times when we do get these reports, we are brought in either by the client or by the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, and we work along with them in terms of doing the necessary preliminary damage assessments, and then further to that, the damage assessment and needs analysis that needs to be done so that they can figure out a way that they can build back better, or even get the social assistance that they will need going forward. So it's a collaborative effort with our partners, for sure.
Excellent. And even as we go back a bit and we continue to discuss the hurricane season, what are some key strategies that persons can implement in their homes and business to make, their property hurricane proof?
We always recommend that you always have some type of a plan. Have a family plan so that in the event of anything happening, you would know exactly what to do, how to respond, and what your family will be doing, especially if you're separated. So have that family plan to know your exits, and that's for your business as well. Know exactly what your evacuation routes are, what your muster points, where your muster points are. And we also recommend that you always have at least 72 hours worth of sustenance with you at any point in time. So that would allow you to live for 72 hours without having to do any panic buying. So, for example, non-perishable foods, making sure that you have enough water on hand. Very, very important, especially in times of emergency, because we see people panic buy. We saw it for Barrel last year. A lot of persons started to panic buy and started to take things off the shelves. And when you went into the grocery stores, we realized that they were practically empty. But outside of that, we also recommend that you have grab and go bags, which would also have your necessary documents that are in waterproof cases or sleeves. Ensure that you have your identification. Make sure that you, as I said, you communicate with your family exactly what is going on. And just by doing these things and making sure that your household doesn't have things like things that can turn into projectiles, and something as simple as just going out and getting hurricane straps for your roof, they are very, very affordable, can be the difference between you having no roof or having your comfort after a hurricane or high wind event. So these are the recommendations that we normally do through our various units, especially through our community outreach program unit and our corporate communications unit, to having some active campaigns right now, trying our best to educate the public, especially through our campaigns right now.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank you so much for your time here this morning, and I think that you have given us a lot of food for thought this morning. What about insurance when it comes to personal insurance for property insurance?
We always recommend that persons get insurance, because we can't always wait for hope that we would get some type of social assistance in terms of getting some type of grant or assistance in that type of way. Making sure you have insurance is pretty much your lifeline in the long run. And we have seen in different countries, different islands, the impact that insurance does have, especially in terms of the turnaround time of being able to build back, and especially build back better. It's a difference between you having to do long-term rentals because you can no longer live in your home, and just being able to quickly have that turnaround and get back into your home in short as time as possible. So we always recommend that persons be proactive and to do the responsible thing to make sure that we can not be so burdensome in terms of social assistance. We have to also be responsible in terms of getting and putting things in place for ourselves as well.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank you so much, guys, this morning. And this is Miss Agbeco.
Correct.
Agbeco from TIMA. She's the Assistant Director and Operations Chief. This morning we had a healthy conversation on, staying safe during the hurricane season and other elements that concern all that TIMA does here on the island. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back right after this. But before we even go to our break this one, we want to remind you that Books and Office Supply, Unit 44 at TLH Plaza, Scarborough, Tobago, they are open on the holiday. Yes, that means they are open this Friday, the 1st of August. That's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you can come down on the holiday for all your book supplies if you're still trying to figure out how to fill out that book list, or you're just looking for any of the items that you need for your office or your personal use. Go down to Books and Office Supply at TLH Plaza. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
I see girls, I see fun, I see winding up in the sun, I see 10 bottle of rum, DJ start the thing, let me jump. Cause I see girls, I see fun, I see winding up in the sun, I see 10 girls to a man, DJ start the thing, let me ramage. When my team touch down, everything get wild. Hey, 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 take out your flag and fling it up, take out something and fling it up, fling it up, fling it up high. Something and fling it up.
As we draw nearer to the close of Heritage 2025, we can't forget some highly talked about events. On Sunday, July 27th, Speyside Harvest is on from 10 a.m. Then we head to the Buku Unveil production from 7 p.m. Belmana Riots in Roxborough, July 28th. Legacy of Africa in Bethel, July 29th. The Black Rock Sea Festival, July 30th. And finally, on August 1st, the Emancipation Day celebration is on from 5 p.m. in Scarborough.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam. You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
This week at the Tobago Heritage Festival 2025. Natural Treasures Day in Charlottesville, Monday 21st, 9 a.m. Salaka Feast in Pembroke, Wednesday 23rd, 8 p.m. Lekoto Folk Tales and Superstition, Thursday 24th, 8 p.m. Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show, Friday 25th, from 6 p.m. Sponsored by First Citizens. Tobago Old Time Carnival Juve, Saturday 26th, 4 a.m. Heritage Calypso Monarch, Saturday 26th from 8 p.m. Buko Unveiled, Sunday 27th.
Courts is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Courts Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Courts Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. This morning we continue our conversations, but before we get into that, I want to remind you that books and office supplies located at TLH Plaza will be opened this Friday. That's Friday the 1st of August. That's on Emancipation Day. They'll be open during the holiday. So that means that you can go down there at TLH Plaza, Scarborough, Tobago, and be able to fill out those book lists if you still have that on your agenda, or just get any of those office or personal supplies that you need to make life more efficient. You can call them at 635-2665. That's 635-2665. This morning I have the privilege to sit in the studio and chat with one of the veterinary officers from the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment, and Sustainable Development. I'm chatting in studio this morning with Mr. Paul Crooks. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, this morning we're talking about something that persons may not even know exists, and that is blue air disease awareness. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
So this blue air disease, tell us a bit about it.
All right. So I had to read up about this blue air thing, why it was called blue air disease, because I know it to be porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome.
Okay.
So the history of it, the disease was first recognized in the United Kingdom around the 80s or so. So it's a relatively newly recognized disease, right? Given the majority of diseases that we encounter even in livestock production, not even talking about human health alone. So it's a relatively new disease and first recognized in the UK and then in the US. So late 80s, early 90s. And over time, they sort of had to agree on a common name. The word syndrome is used to describe sickness that doesn't really have a definite cause until they find out definitively. Now, when you look at the overall name that was agreed upon, porcine respiratory and reproductive syndrome, as opposed to blue air disease, you kind of get that it's a much broader thing than just blue air. Now, the thing about blue air disease, that name, many diseases that we encounter can cause blue ears. In particular, for this disease, the reason why blue air was coined in the UK, and that would have been farmers who were calling it blue air when they would have noticed it initially. The reason it was coined in the UK was because it causes that respiratory disease. Respiratory meaning affecting your breathing. And when you can't breathe properly, you don't get enough oxygen. When you don't get enough oxygen, parts of your body that are less oxygenated may turn blue. So you know the common thing about a baby being born and the baby might need a little smack, need the airways cleaned or cleared because the baby is sort of green color or blue in color. That's because the baby isn't breathing or isn't getting enough oxygen, and that's what people would have seen and associated with this disease. However, as the disease was more researched over time, it became that broader syndrome, because while there is a virus that is largely associated with the syndrome that we're seeing, the virus can cause many different signs, and that's what confounds the diagnosis. Because in Trinidad, it's possible that this virus has been circulating for some time and might even already be present in Tobago and people not recognize. Why? Because according to the literature, the virus tends not to cause major disease outbreaks. Instead, what you have is pig farms that are not producing at the best or the highest standard that they could reach or could attain. And they're not producing at that level because this virus is just circulating, but generally the animals have immunity. So let's say a pig normally takes about 115 days to give birth, right? The period of gestation. If they're infected with this virus around day 90, so 3 months into pregnancy, roughly, if they are infected at that point, they can abort or they can have very weak piglets born.
Okay.
So you might have a sow that was pregnant, gave birth, only one piglet came out. Or maybe she had 11 piglets, which is around normal. She had 11 piglets, but only 2 of them survive. And that might be the thing the farmer sees. However, because of immunity, now that the pig has been exposed, and now she's developing immune cells and so on and able to fight the virus, keep the virus load low, the next time she gets pregnant, she'll have a normal birth. So it's just one of those things you shake off as a producer. You say, all right, well, she had an issue with the first birth, but now she's giving birth normally. So you never even check. You never even call the vet. And I like to tell farmers this all the time. By the time we get a call as a vet, water more than flour, right? That's the saying, right? Right, because many times animals are dying at a farm and the farmer has an expectation that, okay, this is within the normal. I expect 10% of my animals to die. I expect 20% to die. But when it's 50%, now I'll call the vet.
Right.
But all those 10, 20% not being reported means that we are missing potential diagnoses of diseases. So, what's the approach that's being taken? So porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome is what's called a notifiable disease. So our version of the World Health Organization, the World Organization for Animal Health, requires that certain diseases, when they occur in countries, must be reported. So it's one of those diseases that we have to report and tell them, look, we've had an outbreak of this disease. Now that they know, there could potentially be trade implications, because some countries would say, well, we know you have that disease, so we don't want your pork, right? And that's one of the major concerns with this disease. So because it was a newly diagnosed disease in Trinidad, the decision was taken to try to eliminate the disease on the first farm.
And what does that look like? What does elimination look like? Does elimination look like getting rid of the animals that are infected completely and disposing of the meat?
Yeah, well, the meat is safe to eat.
How is it that the animal is infected, but the meat is safe?
So the two things. One, everybody must always cook their meat well, right? You see how in the US people go and they cut in the meat and they have a little bit of pink running out and thing.
Right.
Basically, the cow nearly mooing on the plate. We don't want the cow to moo. As public health professionals, we'd always recommend that you have your meat cooked well.
Well,
right.
So not rare.
Not rare. And pork in particular, pork and chicken, should never be undercooked for any reason.
Okay.
But there are guidelines online. You can get a meat thermometer. You can make sure that certain temperatures are met and in the core of the meat, and you know that it's safe to eat. Heat, anything that can make you sick, basically, that's living, viral, bacterial, fungal, will probably be killed by heat. You have to do something exceptional for that organism to live. That's one. But two, and more importantly, not every virus or bacterial organism can affect every species. So while there are the occasional zoonotic diseases that go from animal to man, there are many diseases that are species specific. However, another complicating factor in the diagnosis of porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome is that there are many diseases that can produce the signs that we see. So if an animal has reduced fertility, so they call up and say, "Doc, I have this pig, I feel she run fat." Run fat being the term for she can't get pregnant, right? Basically. Wow. I put her with the boar like 3 times and like she's not coming on, she's not getting pregnant. I don't know what to do with her. Is there some medication you could give? There are many causes for that syndrome. So porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome is one of them, but also porcine parvovirus and so on. So that means that it's even more difficult to figure out why this thing is happening and how to manage it. Regardless, the decision was taken to eliminate. And in practice, what that meant is getting rid of the animals on the farm, giving the farm a thorough disinfection, cleaning, bleach, what have you, that sort of thing, burial of carcasses, and with strict control of the environment, the hope is that the disease will be contained on that farm and won't spread. However, in the literature, there have been reports that suggest that the virus can move up to 3 kilometers in the air. It's also possible that you can have other smaller animals contacting the virus, even though they don't get sick. They could carry it on their paws or what have you. So you have a rat or a goatee run into the pig pen, walking through the feces, because this virus is shed in all body secretions really, but from nostrils, urine, feces, what have you. So you have an agouti run in the pen, walk through the feces, urine, leave the pen, and then goes to the neighbor's pig farm. So in practice, containing the disease is very difficult. No matter how you slice it, it's expensive. Either the farmer is going to lose through loss of production, or the control of the disease, trying to prevent the disease spreading and so on, elimination of the pigs costs money. But would you rather spend that $2 million now to try to contain this disease, or spend $10 million vaccinating pigs across the country over the next 2 or 3 years, and then you have to continue vaccinating? And that's where the cost comes in. So at this point, there's still decisions being made about how best to manage the disease and manage the outbreak. But what I want Tobago farmers to know is that those little losses that you're experiencing in your pigs might be this disease. We might already have it. But
and remind them that this is the blue air disease.
Yes, blue air disease or porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome. that's the one I would rather they focus on, because they may never see blue ears. That's the truth.
Right.
So if they think blue ear disease and they see the pig lost piglets, they're not going to think that this is because of that disease. Right. They'll just be thinking blue ears.
So porcine reproductive syndrome.
And respiratory.
And
yeah.
respiratory
so
syndrome.
The pigs might have coughing, sneezing, difficulty breathing in whatever way or ways that manifest. They might have abortion. Piglets may be born weak. The ears may be blue as a result of difficulty breathing. The pigs, the adults, females especially, may just not conceive, and you may not know why. So in those cases, you have to have discussion with your vet. But also, if we don't look for something, we're not going to find it. And the truth is, in Trinidad, it might have been there for years. And maybe one vet was like, you know what? Maybe it's this. And then you have to now find where you can do the specialty testing, because we don't have the ability to test for that virus here in Trinidad and Tobago. So they'd have to take blood and ship it off to another country to confirm the diagnosis. So it's a lot that goes into just diagnosing it in the first place. But I would advise farmers, typically the virus, if you've had it on your farm for some time, will not really cause disease in your pigs. It'll be a very incidental finding. There are many, many herds of pigs where there are no signs at all and the virus is present, even if they're not vaccinated. So what we are looking for now is those periods of outbreak where you have an incidence of disease. Maybe you have 50% of your pigs showing signs of disease. That's when we think, and then we say, okay, let's try to treat. Because even in all the literature, you might find the virus in a normal, otherwise normal, healthy pig. So you have to correlate the virus being present and the signs of illness. So the ultimate aim is to reduce the incidence of disease and also reduce losses, reduce the negative impacts on trade, but minimize the losses to the farmers, minimize the losses to members of the public in calling out the police and saying no pigs could be moved. And, you know, there's a lot that has to go into it.
And, you know, finally, as we wrap up this morning, can you tell us about some of the efforts that, I mean, well, this is one of the efforts, you know, by coming out and raising awareness and giving persons the information as it pertains to the existence of this disease.
Yes.
But what are some of the other resources that the Division of Food Security is providing at this time to farmers?
All right. So whenever you are in doubt as a farmer, call a vet for sure. And you can contact the vet lab at 660-2008, or if the clerk typist isn't there or there's issue with the phone line, call me and I will direct you to assistance at 383-4451. So the numbers again, 660-2008. You could call or WhatsApp me at 383-4451. If you have any questions, if you think that you may have an issue, if we do consider that that is the disease on your farm, we would have to report it to the ministry, and then we'll do further testing and go from there.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank you so much for your time here this morning, Mr. Crooks, and all the work that you are doing and your team is doing at the Division of Food Security. Guys, unfortunately, this is where we come to the end of this morning's program. But before we do that, we want to remind you that Books and Office Supplies Limited at TLH Plaza, they are open this Friday. Yeah, that means on Emancipation Day, this Friday, August the 1st, they are open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and they can be contacted at 635-2665. That's 635-2665. They are at the TLH Plaza here in Scarborough, and that means if you have a book list that still needs to be filled out, or you just need any supplies for your own personal efficiency or your office, you can check them out. Unfortunately, this is the end this morning. We want to thank you so much for being a part of our discussion. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am your host, Chanel Felix, and see you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.